from Hollywood, the CBS Radio Workshop.
This is Radio Rhodesia, broadcasting on the mega, micro, and strato beams. We take you now to the Ethnical Museum of Antiquity at Kenya, and our correspondent, Dinar Geb. Come in, Dinar Geb. Stand by, please. We are trying to get through. Radio Rhodesia to Dinar Geb in Kenya. Come in, Dinar Geb.
CBS Radio presents the CBS Radio Workshop, dedicated to man's imagination, the theater of the mind. Some weeks ago, the workshop presented A Pride of Carrots, in which the novelist Robert Nathan described the planet Venus as it might appear to modern man. In the broadcast you are about to hear, Mr. Nathan describes our culture as it might appear to the men of 6,000 years from now. Based upon the story in the current issue of Harper's Magazine, here is Mr. Nathan's report on the Weans.
This is Dinar Geb speaking from the Great Hall of the Ethnical Museum of Antiquity at Kenya. If my voice sounds a little strange to you, it's because I've become infected with the excitement of the scholars gathered here to receive the reports from the field expeditions on the Great West Continent. As you know, as part of the worldwide celebration of this Astrophysical Year of 7956 A.D., teams of archeologists have been working for months in the tumuli, or city mounds, of the uninhabited continent. Our staff correspondents are with them now at the tumulus of Enyok, at Shaago, at Loose Angles, and at Pound Laundry. In just a moment, you'll hear them in person. But first, standing beside me at this microphone is Sra Bahan Bolek, Chancellor of Education and Curator of the museum. Sra Bolek, would you care to give our listeners some hint as to what discoveries may be announced today?
No, Sir Geb, that would be cheating.
Yes, I suppose it would.
But I will say this. I believe we all agree that we have come to a great distance in understanding the Weans since the first artifacts were dug up in the city mound of Boxtin, or as some prefer to pronounce it, Boston, nearly 200 years ago.
They're the ones in this case, are they not?
That's right. An ivory cross attached to some beads, and a rusted iron wheel, apparently designed to run along some kind of track. But alas, scarcely enough upon which to postulate a culture or project a civilization. And so, for more than a century, the Great West Continent has kept its secret.
But during that time, other discoveries were made, were they not?
Oh, yes. From time to time, hunters, prospectors, and other adventurers returned from that deserted and forbidding land with fragments of scrolls. But they were completely meaningless hieroglyphs until the discovery, some years ago, of the talking disk of Weans.
Weans. That's the city mound at the extreme south of the Great West Continent, isn't it?
Exactly. At the mouth of the immensely wide, dry river, the Misses. It was there, in the winter of 7940, that an expedition under my esteemed colleague Han Shui discovered the disk in an astonishing state of preservation. Since the disk of Weans gave us our first indication of the identity of the people of We, I thought perhaps it would not be inappropriate to hear it now.
An excellent idea. Is that the original you have there?
Oh, my, no. This is a copy, a transcription of it. The original is never removed from the vaults of the museum, but it is a faithful copy. Listen.
Now Weans knows, and Thayans knows too, down deep in Thayans' hearts, that Weans ain't gonna let Thayans tell us'ns how to run things down here. We all can manage us'ns' own affairs, and no damn Yankee from the north is gonna tell us'ns nothing.
Well, that's mighty interesting, Sra Bolek. Mighty interesting. But what does it mean?
Well, its actual meaning is obscure. But don't you realize that this human voice speaking to us from 6,000 years ago has uttered the sound of every letter symbol in all the glyphs and scrolls we have discovered? We know now thanks to the great deductive scholarship of Srahan Shui, that these people, who so often inscribed their scrolls with the letters USA, referred to themselves as Weans. We did not know how to pronounce USA prior to the discovery of the Disc of Orleans. Now we know that USANS is incorrect, and the symbols USA are properly pronounced Weans.
Well, thank you, Bolek. I believe Srahan Shui is at the City Mound of Chicago right now with our Radio Rhodesia reporter, Hule Benneker. Take it away, Hule.
Thank you, Dinar Geb. This is Hule Benneker at the Chicago excavation. And here is the distinguished professor and dean of the Advanced School of Primitive Languages of Kenya University, Srahan Shui.
Greetings to my colleagues in the field as well as back home. This is indeed a great and proud day for me. I have found another disc. Just as the talking disc of Orleans gave us the secret of the Weans language, I believe the singing disc of Chicago may indicate what the music of the Weans was.
There seems to be an inscription on the disc, Shui. What does it say?
It is somewhat unclear. The nearest I can make out, it says, Blue Sway Shoe by Avis Paisley. Sold 1,000,000 copies.
What does it mean?
I haven't the slightest idea, but let's listen to the music.
Well, it's one for the money, two for the show. But we'll get ready now. Go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. That's music?
Primitive, isn't it? Most rudimentary.
Yes, but I'd hardly call it music.
Hello, Han Shui. Hello, Fred Shui. Can you hear me?
Yes, who is it?
Von Bolek at Kenya. Congratulations on your find.
Oh, thank you, my old friend.
But I'm afraid you're mistaken.
Mistaken?
Yes, that's not music. That's a religious ceremony.
What?
Yes, you have misread the inscription. It is not Avis Paisley. It must be Ephus Fresley.
Fresley?
Yes. Don't you remember my translation of the Enoch scroll regarding a great religious festival? I quote, "And Fresley threw his head back and commenced, and did cause them by rock and roll to give out cries and screams loudly in the aisles and corridors, all in syncope." Unquote.
You are right as always, Bolek. I had thought it was music.
I doubt if the Weans had any music, but your find is more important, for it proves they had a religion.
And now, after that unscheduled but exceedingly interesting interchange between two longtime friends and associates, we continue our report on the Weans from the far edge of the continent. Our next pickup is from Loose Angles, or as some translators prefer, Loose Ankles, at the edge of the great Western Ocean. We take you there now. The next voice you will hear will be of our staff correspondent, Yush Ertebi.
Thank you, Hule Benneker in Chicago. This is Yush Ertebi speaking to you from the excavations near the bleak brown hills of Loose Angles. And here beside me is the head of this particular expedition and the only woman scientist participating, Sres Besnev, the brilliant dean of advanced femininity at the University of Zagora.
Hello there. I was most interested in the comments Sarah Bahan Bolek just made upon the religious significance of the find at the Chicago dig. Because out here, we too have come upon objects which have for the first time led us to believe that the Weans did indeed have a primitive religion.
You are referring to the golden idols?
Precisely. Repeatedly in the kitchen middens of smaller communities surrounding Loose Angles, we have dug up these small gilded statues cast away among the pottery sherds and other refuse. The presence of so many of the golden fetishes indicates beyond a shadow of a doubt the existence of a considerable cult of Oscar, as our translation of certain scrolls proved the god's name to be. So for several months we've been searching for the temple of this god, particularly in this area of Holy Wood,